As far as graphic-wise, the ship looks like a gosh darn Christmas tree, right? Let's go to our battleship. No, it is funny though, right? Weren't we? I think we were just talking about this. It was either Sunday or last Thursday. We were talking about how we had our hybrid, G4 into G5 ships with our Defiant, with our Talios for interceptors, and with our, our Titan and our Voyager for our explorers. But we didn't have a battleship yet that did it. Well, look at what they answered our prayers. They said, "Challenge accepted. We can build one of these in 3 days." So this is our new ship, which to me looks like a Christmas tree. I don't know why. I look at this and I just think it's really more like a medieval shield. But you know, at first glance to me, I think it's a Christmas tree. I'm just silly that way. So here's your base ship. Starts with a 52,000% bonus. To doing damage with that Texas class tag. So even though the base details of it, DPR doesn't start out very high, when you tack on a 52,000% bonus, it's going to go up pretty quickly. Somebody was asking me about this morning. Let me see if I still have it up or not. No. Okay, I do. Haha. So let's pull this one over here. And I want to pull this one over here. There we go. All right. And let's drag both of those guys down. All right, so they were asking, because they only had an auger, and they're like, oh, how much better is this thing going to be than my auger? Or should I just, is it worth getting compared to my auger? Should I build a Katinga? So let's just look at them both real quick. This is a G4 to G5 hybrid ship. So you're going to start out right out of the box at tier 1. DPR significantly lower. Power level wise, you're about the same as a tier 9 auger, right? We're going all the way up. This is a tier 9 auger. We're talking about DPR 20,000 higher. It's got more, doesn't have more hull health, doesn't have more shield health. Stat wise, this is already right out of the box a better ship than that maxed auger. Probably going to have better warp range too. I didn't even look at the warp range on it. What does it start at? It starts at 70. So you're already better in terms of warp range, or just as good. Maxed auger starts at 75, speed is 3.8. This thing starts at 70, speed of 4, so it's not going to take as long getting places either. And the instant you tier it up to tier 2, now you're up to 80. 80 is what you need to get this thing out into deep space and get to this first ring here, get out of this first ring, and get to this second ring here where you can actually start relocating your base a little bit easier. If you have to do any hostile hunting or faction grinding, you can get out here and kill stuff now too. This all requires 75 to get to. So compared to an auger, right out of the box, this thing feels like it's a big upgrade. Now, if you're thinking to yourself, well, do I just get a Katinga at 42 then instead? Short answer is no, but we'll look at why in a second here. So the short answer is because this is a G4 into G5 hybrid, this is going to have more longevity for you, plus the specialty features of it and the refineries and all that other fun stuff. But if you're just looking at where they start out right out of the box, the Katinga's better. It's got more power, it's got more DPR, it's got more hull health, a little less on terms of shields. As far as weapons go, you've got a firing pattern of, you're shooting 4 times a round guaranteed. This one's also shooting 4 times a round guaranteed, but it's the difference here with the alternating weapon, firing 1 shot every other round versus The big torpedo firing 4 shots every 3 rounds is putting out way more damage over here with the Katinga. But as far as upgrade costs, we'll say taking it to tier 4 seems like a reasonable place to go. You are spending way more battleship parts, more uncommon ore, and you're spending uncommon crystal to get the Katinga to tier 4. At tier 4, you're looking at a DPR of about 132. Now, the minivan over here is not caught up yet, but you've spent significantly less to upgrade it. You spent less titanium, way less dilithium. The only thing you've spent more of is the specialty parts, which is going to be your time factor, your gate roadblock. So what else can it do? Now, at some point in time here, even when you go to tier 6, this is now starting to use a little bit of rare. You're starting to use that here when you're going from 4 to 5 a little bit. Nope, from 5 to 6. You start to use rare. Well, you haven't used rare yet here and you're already at tier 6, but you've used way more in terms of still, ship parts. That's an astronomical difference, 9,000 versus 250,000. Uncommon ore, you're looking at double. Plus crystal, which is barely used here. This is, triple the amount of crystal as well. So way more in terms of materials to upgrade. And at this point in time, you haven't caught up to it in DPR yet, but you've got more hull health and more shield health, which therefore equates to more overall power. You're going to last longer in the fight, but you're not quite doing as much damage yet. But I think we're about to turn the corner. If we go from 6 to 7, this is where you're now, I believe, ops locked. I think you have to be 50 plus, 51 plus to get to ops to tier 7 of this ship. When you do that, there is a pretty little bit of a jump here. But when you go from 7 to 8, now suddenly you're talking about picking up some power here, picking up some steam. Starting to get into the G5 parts a little bit. Now you're starting to get over 200,000 in the DPR factor. You've caught up. You've outclassed it in terms of total power. Way more shield health, way more hull health. Certainly going to have way more warp range. Now we go from 9 to 10. And now you finally have outpassed it in DPR as well. You've also got better piercing stats. Now you're into that G5 territory. So while this ship might be better for you in the lower levels, it also has a cap to it. You're not going to continue to keep investing in it because you're not going to see any return on investment. Chances are you're going to end up scrapping it at some point. This ship has more longevity to it because it is a hybrid that does eventually graduate into G5 range. So instead of having to use all of these 4-star epic materials that are very difficult to source, you graduate into G5 commons and uncommons, and you keep things moving along. And you just keep going and going. And at the point most people would normally stop, tier 6, tier 7 is about where a lot of people tend to stop upgrading the 42 uncommons, which is kind of where you'd want to stop this ship, if you stopped investing in it at tier 6, we'll say, that's right about the point where this ship then flips to G5 parts. You don't take this from 7 to 8 because you don't want to spend the rare materials on it, but instead this ship flips at 7 to G5 materials. So you don't ever really get into that heavy rare that you need to push ops levels, because you do need a lot of rare ore to keep moving up ops levels, you don't have to worry about that. You can use all that, grind your ops levels, get into your, because you have to be 50 plus to get to this point anyway. So instead of spending a lot of rare, I mean, there's a little bit of rare here for sure, getting up from 5 to 6. So I think the ship has some longevity to it. And then, of course, you have to deal with the damage bonuses and stuff in here. You know, you start at 52,000, but even just the first couple levels push it to 56,000. And then as you start tiering it up, you're already up to 63. Now you're up to 73. Now you're up to 86,000 by tier 4. So you're getting huge damage bonuses against the Texas class stuff, making your loop grind, armada, chase, refinery shenanigans even easier to do. And right about here, you're up, tier 6. This is kind of the end of that G4 range. You're up to 118,000, so you've already doubled up by tier 6 from what you started at. And now it really starts to jump up into some pretty significant numbers here. And this is a bigger jump here, you'll notice, going from 35 up to 40. You go from 138 all the way up to 160. 186, and then it just keeps going and going until it eventually maxes out somewhere down the end at 280,000, which is, again, just seems like a ridiculous astronomical number, but I'm sure you'll need it when you're trying to kill those level 60 hostiles. So as far as where this fits in, I think it probably makes more sense. Now, the Katinga is going to have more universal appeal. It's going to be better in PvP and things like that probably than this ship. But if you didn't have either one of them, I wouldn't invest in both. I would probably think this ship is good enough to get by, and I would just take it and run with it. And say, okay, I need a battleship because my auger's not cutting it anymore. What can I use in the low to mid G4 range that's not going to require a crap ton of ore because all of my buildings need that to keep upgrading? This seems like a nice little bridge that's going to get you through those rough points, give you something else to work with, so when you have those, fleet commander events where you have to use a battleship and go kill hostiles, you're not out there with an auger killing, 39s or 40s. You can actually go kill some higher level stuff and move through those events quicker. That's what it seems like to me. So you definitely do lose out on some faction specific research, as Carissa points out. It's not a faction ship. It's not going to get, a damage bonus for like the Talios does or the other ships do for Borg solo armadas and things. It's not going to get that type of benefit for it. It's not going to be your good alternate ship for that. If you're grinding faction rep with it, it's not getting you the bonuses on that stuff either. So, but I think it's got potential at least to, be a good enough player to get by, right? That's my opinion on it. That's what I think. Now, Robotsky, I wasn't saying you should skip the auger to get it. I'm saying if you had an auger and you were using your tier 9 auger, or you're like, is this an upgrade over it, was what I was trying to say. If you're like, well, I've got my auger, I'm good. Would I just, would this be a replacement for it? Was what I was trying to demonstrate through that example. And the answer to that, I feel like, is yes. This does replace the auger as you advance out of that G3 into G4 territory. This is a good upgrade for that. All right. Now comes the all-important question, which I'm going to leave up to you guys. And we're going to put up a poll. New poll. I'm going to put that up for 2 minutes. I'm going to go get some more water. Here's the question. Should I buy the Monaveen right now? Choices are simple. Yes. You want to see what the refinery looks like? You want to see what it takes to upgrade it? No. Let's not reward Scopely and their bad behavior. We didn't want another ship. We didn't want another loop. We didn't want more solo armadas or a new armada type. We didn't want another refinery. Let's not engage with the new content versus, no, yeah, no, I want to see what it looks like. So you guys think about it. I'll be right back. All right, let's see what we got. Survey results should be in just a second. Wow. 15 people, only 29, I'm sorry, only 24 of the 69 of you voted, which is already sad. I'm disappointed by that number. I thought it would have been higher. I guess 2/3 of you are lurking. 15% said no, don't reward Scopely and buy the ship. 9 of you said yes, I want to see it and see the loop. So never be sad at 69. No, all right, you guys voted. You said don't buy it. So I mean, we have the graphics for what it looks like, but actually, using the thing, right? Well, I mean, in addition to, sounds like I really wanted to buy it. I just thought people would be more excited about the new content and would actually kind of want to see it work. But yeah, at my level, I need about 400 bucks to do anything with it. Probably, because even once you buy the ship, then you're just like, yeah, I have the thing, and it's like, great, you can do the refinery once and then wait 2 or 3 days to get enough materials to do anything with it. Because the launch special here doesn't give you any upgrade materials. Excuse me. You get some geodes to do some research. You get some more of these things. A couple of Freeman shards. But that's really about it. I'm sure once you buy this, there is an additional pack that probably becomes available to then upgrade the ship, which is currently not showing here because if you don't have the ship yet, why would you want it? The regular pack, the regular bundle, is exactly the same, except it doesn't have the 10 Carol Freeman shards in it. They released them both this morning at the same time and then took down the regular one like an hour later. The pack looked exactly the same except no Freeman. So by buying it today, you get 10 extra Carol Freeman shards. And then in addition to that, for building the ship, you would complete the event. So building the ship gets you X Borg credits. Don't know why they're doing that. They should give you the stupid things to upgrade the thing. But that's, again, fits right back into their traditional logic of, if you want to upgrade the thing, just give us more money. The SLB here, you can score by killing any of these ships. You can go out and kill them yourself. If you kill the armadas, you get a boatload of extra points, but you can just grind some hostiles. I killed a handful of hostiles, and I'm currently in my bracket in 9th place. This particular one is only giving out regular materials, so nothing special in here. Again, nothing that's going to help you upgrade the ship. There is a separate thing to upgrade the ship that is giving you points for tiering it up. So you have to take it up a full tier, and you've got a week to do it. And for doing so, you get all kinds of artifact tokens, which you would then take over into your refinery. Now, I see the isolytic tokens in there, but if I'm not mistaken, which does happen from time to time, did they put this back in here, or did it just never go? Oh, it never went away. Okay, so it's over here on the side. There just isn't really a good way to source these as much. So those tokens are back, but again, bear in mind, it takes 4,000 to do one opening. So the fact that they give you, what are they giving you? 16,900? You're like, oh wow, that's so many packs? No, that's 4 packs. That's not a lot. They're giving you 4 packs. And if the rounding is right on that, hopefully it's just enough to squeeze by with the 4th pack. And you don't come up like 10 short. So Texas guy says another 99 bucks and you can get it all the way to tier 2, but don't ask how I know that. And I'm sure that's a thing, and then you tier it up, and then you complete this, and then you've got a few more days to go through the refinery, and maybe you get to the second month, or you keep going. You just keep spending $100 on upgrade packs. Now, the other bonus to that at least would be is that you're getting Odo shards for your trouble as well, right? Because he's over here in the multiphasic credit one. And we determined earlier that you have to spend 370 bucks to get a full unlock of Odo. So if you're spending 100 bucks on the Marine and you're spending 100 bucks on an upgrade pack and 20 bucks on your battle pass to get Freeman, well, there's 220 right there. That's already going to get you 1734, not quite to here. So if you wait, it's free and bug free. Well, it certainly would. By the time it's the free to play path, is announced next month, and then they start the daily drip of whatever grind you have to do to, claim the blueprints one at a time or 2 at a time, whatever the case may be, because it's a 200 blueprint ship compared to Voyager and Defiant that were 100 blueprint ships. You're looking at a slow grind per day. You're looking at 100 plus days, which means you're getting it, February of 2024 realistically. If you don't buy it now, that's kind of what you're looking at. So what's this one over here? Let's move you over there. And let's put you there. If people need to vote with their wallet, if they complain and still buy it, their voices will not be heard. Well, that's certainly true. That is definitely true. You can complain all you want, but if the numbers tell them that people are still engaging in the content, they have no incentive to change their behavior. And I completely understand and appreciate that point of view for sure. Maybe they'll do the right thing and add it to the Arc store, unlike Voyager. Probably not. You might get a head start in like next month or something like that. They'll probably do something stupid. Like, well, if you didn't want to buy the ship at all, but you want to buy the $20 battle pass next month, well, you can get like 50 blueprints then, and that'll give you a head start to get the ship faster. And then you'll get like, one or two blueprints a day for doing the loop afterwards. So if you don't buy the battle pass next month, well, then you're further behind and it creates a second little subclass of people. So now you've got people who bought it day one, people who bought the battle pass to get the head start, people who didn't buy either of them and are now further behind than everybody else. That seems to kind of fit previous things where they sold you the full ship or they sold you the half ship, like we saw with Voyager and things like that. So some type of structured mechanic to that would not surprise me at all. You get 6 blueprints from one of the missions. Well, there you go. That's a nice little head start then. By the way, Texas Guy, thank you for the follow while I was away. And Savage, thank you for the hydrate. Also, Mac Dad of Chris. You wouldn't happen to be related to the Chris son of Mac who's on my server now, would you? Or the same person? There is a new field training, as Ace does point out too. Oh, look at that. There is a new field training that they did add as well for the new ship, which does have some similar roadblocks, right? Build the ship being the first one. There's some other ones down here you can do, but none of them matter if you can't build the ship. You can kill the hostiles, so you can get these out of the way while you're waiting to build the ship. Then you got to cash in some stuff in the refinery. Then you've got to spend some parts. But the rewards for it are just giving you, little bits of more parts and things. Little bits of more materials to work in your refinery. Not really giving you a lot more in terms of like upgrade parts, a few more officer shards. This is doing the armadas. This is trading in the other credits. And as you progress out here, you pick up some more of the original lower deck, as well as some more artifact shards. But there isn't the huge benefit to this one like there is with Voyager. Voyager has the dolomite particles. Dolomite particles equal primes. Huge benefit. Moving through this tree gets you a handful of old officers. And then up here it gets you a handful of new officers and a little bit more of like the materials for the refinery. But this field training does not have nearly as good a payout, in my opinion, as the Voyager one. Now, the Voyager one is, time locked behind this trade commerce insignias, which is, I think we did the math on this. It was like a year and a half to 2 years for most people. Probably. I mean, obviously it gets faster as your Voyager tiers up and you can kill more of like the Borg hostiles. If you take advantage of Neelix's ability to summon more and, kill more of the Borg hostiles and get the, refinery tokens to drop, you can accelerate this faster, but it's still a ridiculously long period of time to get here compared to everything else that you have to do in this tree. But the benefits are also a lot stronger because you're getting these dolomite particles which equal primes as opposed to, this that you're getting here that just gives you, an artifact pull. That's one pull. And a couple of shards of an officer who's in transporter patterns now and an officer who's, competing for a lower deck slot with a growing pool of lower deck slot officers now. So Bella, Bella, thank you for clarifying. So Mac, you are same one. Had to make a new account to subscribe to DJ. Okay. For the contest. Okay. Well, thanks for stopping by and being here.